Well, Donald Trump making good on one of his signature campaign pledges, replacing Obamacare to help everyone. As the man behind the bill claims, it was never supposed to be that way.
This law was never supposed to help everybody, Tucker. That wasn't the design. The law was actually explicitly designed first in Massachusetts and then for the nation to leave the vast majority of Americans alone. People who had health insurance that worked for them through their employer or the government were not designed to be affected by this law, by and large, in the near term. They were hoped to benefit in the long term through lowering costs. But in the near term, the law was designed to fix what was wrong with our system.
Here to react, Real Clear Politics national political reporter Caitlin Huey Burns. Thank you so much for joining us, first of all.
Hi, good morning.
So Jonathan Gruber went on to say there that it was actually focused on the 20% of Americans who did not have health insurance or were buying into a broken system. So what about the other 80%?
Well, what Jonathan Gruber was alluding to was that lots of people get insurance through their employer. So Obamacare was designed to cover those who don't have access or didn't have access at the time. And it particularly focused on low income. Medicaid expansion was big, and it's still actually pretty popular in a lot of states that did accept the expansion. And so when Republicans are trying to repeal and replace the law, that's where all the kind of complications come in. How to provide continued access to coverage for everyone. And there's very different views on how exactly to do that.
Right. You have Democrats saying that they cannot do that and will not plan on doing that. But then you have President Trump saying that he will not let people go without coverage.
Right. And what they're grappling with is the Obama administration says that if you repeal Obamacare, you will have 20 million people without insurance who are depending on the program. And Republicans don't want to pull out the rug from beneath these people and leave them with nothing. So there are different views on how to do this. And there are some plans coming out from the Senate today that include, keeping Obamacare intact in some states that want to keep it, revoking it in some others that don't want to keep it.
Different parts of it.
Keeping different parts of it. You've had Republican governors lobbying members of Congress saying we want to keep the Medicaid expansion part of it for low-income people who need access to care. So there's lots of different complications because this bill was so big and so complicated, and each state kind of has their own interests at play here.
And one of the other things that Tucker Carlson pointed out last night as he continued to speak to Jonathan Gruber, Carlson said that 20% of those on the insurance exchanges only have one coverage option as well. So that doesn't really benefit them, does it?
That's another, when Republicans are thinking about replacing this law, they want to give more flexibility, some say, particularly to the states, and give people more options. The Obama pledge that you could keep your doctor, of course, proved to be false, and a lot of people reacted to that. Obamacare remains unpopular, but a lot of people would rather fix the law than repeal it with nothing else. And Republicans acknowledge that. So it's a balance of finding something that works, something that provides the access, while also figuring out how to make it different from what Obamacare already provides. So I think this is going to be a really long process that we're going to see unfold. The president wants to do this quickly, but just knowing what it takes in Congress, especially in the Senate, it's a slow-moving chamber. It'll take a while.
So which side do Americans believe, specifically those who may be impacted by this?
Well, there is a lot of concern about people losing their health coverage.
But it's interesting that you pointed out that there was that what was proven to not be true, that people would not be able to keep their plan if they like their plan. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. That was proven to not be true, and now they're saying that this is being proven not to be true.
Well, there's, recent polling has shown that while most people want to repeal the law, or that most people don't like the law, they are concerned about completely repealing it without a replacement. So there's a lot of
57% of people either want to repeal it or replace parts of it.
And there's a lot of people who are not sure whether they want to keep the law in place and provide fixes to it, or completely gut it and start over again.
41% want to expand it, perhaps.
Right. And so you're going to see a lot of back and forth, even among Republicans. There's not a clear consensus among Republicans on what to do here. And they've had, several years to think about a plan. But, the President Trump's election was a surprise to some people. And so they are now realizing that a lot of the policy initiatives that they want to do have a good chance of getting done, so they want to get it right.
All right, we'll see. Caitlin, thank you so much for joining us.
Good to see you.
Really appreciate it. Bright and early this morning. Good stuff.